Bienvenidos a todos, qué emoción tenerlos aquí. Mi nombre es Héctor Reséndiz, funjo actualmente como director de la competencia del Research Challenge en México y también soy vicepresidente de la sociedad de la CFA Society México. Sonará trillado, pero a los equipos participantes los felicito, ya son ganadores. Sí vamos a tener un primer lugar que nos va a representar en fases internacionales, pero en verdad crean que ya todos son ganadores. El trabajo que ustedes han hecho es de altísima calidad, es un trabajo en equipo, bajo presión, estándares profesionales, es algo que pueden ya ir a presumir ante futuros empleadores. Entonces, primero que nada, felicidades y bienvenidos a la competencia. Empezando ya con algunas de las formalidades, quiero dar algunos agradecimientos. En primer lugar, a la empresa de fibra Monterrey en lo general, el apoyo para poder realizar esta competencia fue invaluable. En segundo lugar, y también muy importante porque es fundamental para realizar esta competencia, del equipo de Bolsa Mexicana de Valores, nos va a acompañar en un momento más Gerardo Aparicio, es director de Cultura Financiera. Él les va a estar dando a los equipos participantes un tour por el museo de la Bolsa. Es un museo que abrió hace algunos años y la verdad es que en temas de historia de bolsa es valiosísimo y muy enriquecedor. Entonces en un momento más nos va a... Gerardo, por aquí estás, perdón. Gerardo nos va a acompañar con estos recorridos. Y bueno, evidentemente tenemos representantes de todas las escuelas, familias, amigos, a los que les agradezco mucho su presencia el día de hoy. Déjenme ahorita voy a nombrar a las escuelas, no se apuren. Nada más déjenme platicarles un poquitito cómo ha sido el camino que han tenido que llevar aquí los muchachos para todos aquellos que no están tan familiarizados con la competencia. Durante los meses de septiembre a noviembre, los equipos tuvieron que elaborar un reporte escrito basado en el análisis de la empresa. El reporte escrito buscaba evaluar qué precio ponían ellos al valor de la fibra que se analizó, que es fibra Monterrey. Entonces ellos tenían que decir cuál es el precio objetivo que veían de aquí a un año y si con base en ese precio objetivo ellos consideraban que la fibra está en una posición de compra, de mantener o de venta. Es mucho de lo que nos van a platicar el día de hoy. En noviembre se evaluó este reporte por distintos graders y los 4 mejores están el día de hoy en la final local. El ganador de la final de hoy va a pasar a la etapa subregional contra otros países de Latinoamérica y los ganadores de esas etapas subregionales pasan a las regionales, que ya es de todo el continente, y los ganadores de todo el continente van a la final global, que ya es donde, pues, ahora sí, todos los continentes, ¿no? Ya hemos tenido participación de algún equipo mexicano en una final global en el pasado. Es un proceso súper competido, pero confiamos que este año, en esta competencia para 2025, tengamos aquí un representante en esas etapas finales globales. Déjenme también les doy un poquito de numeralia. En la competencia participaron 21 equipos de 21 universidades diferentes. Suelo decir este mensaje, pero la verdad me enorgullece mucho porque son equipos de muchísimos estados de la República. Tuvimos por lo menos 10 estados de la República representados. Tuvimos más de 100 estudiantes inscritos en la competencia. Otro motivo de orgullo es que la competencia en participantes está prácticamente pareja en términos de género, 43% mujeres, 57 hombres. Tenemos una brecha que cerrar, pero la verdad estamos avanzando y estamos cerca de encontrar un equilibrio. Y también tuvimos 42 participantes que fueron entre faculty advisors y mentores de la industria. De estos, 11 fueron mujeres, 31 son hombres. Ahí todavía tenemos más brecha que cerrar, pero bueno, tenemos participación de ambos sexos. Súper importante para que esta competencia se lleve a cabo y se lleve a cabo de manera exitosa es la labor de los jueces voluntarios. Son líderes en la industria de análisis y evaluación de empresas. Voy a leer a continuación sus biografías y me enorgullece mucho contar con este panel el día de hoy. Voy a leer las biografías y si quieren me regalan el aplauso terminando cada uno para no alargar mucho. Entonces, voy a comenzar con Cecilia Jiménez. Cecilia Jiménez Cornejo es actualmente CEO de Santander Asset Management, que es gestora con más de 25 billones de activos bajo administración. Ha ocupado puestos anteriores dentro de la misma institución como Head de Equity Capital Markets Head de Equity Research, entre otros, aquí en México. Cuenta con más de 17 años de experiencia internacional en inversiones y banca de inversión, tanto en México como en Chile y en España. Cecilia, además, es socia fundadora de Mujeres en Finanzas, una fundación sin fines de lucro que promueve la participación y liderazgo de mujeres en la industria financiera mexicana. Y es también inversionista ángel y semilla en empresas de capital de riesgo en México y Latinoamérica, así como consejera en fondos de activos alternativos. Cecilia estudió Ingeniería Comercial en la Universidad Católica de Chile, cuenta con una maestría en Finanzas por parte de la Universidad de Alcalá de Henares y certificaciones en Gobierno Corporativo y Liderazgo por parte de Kellogg University y London School of Economics, respectivamente. Agradezco mucho la participación de Ceci y les pido un aplauso. Eduardo Mota, cuenta con 10 años de experiencia en el manejo de activos de portafolios en México. Actualmente se desempeña como Portfolio Manager dentro del grupo Systematic Active Equities, dentro del grupo de mercados emergentes de BlackRock. Anteriormente estuvo dentro del grupo de Fundamental Equities, cubriendo diversos sectores dentro de México. Antes de su llegada a BlackRock en 2018, trabajó en Citibanamex Asset Management dentro del grupo de renta variable. Eduardo cuenta con una licenciatura en Administración de Negocios en la Universidad Panamericana y un posgrado en Finanzas Internacionales también por la UP. Compartimos escuela, pero también quiero comentarles que Eduardo es ex participante del CFA Research Challenge, entonces con más motivo me enorgullece tenerlo hoy en el panel de jurados. Bienvenido. Vanessa Quiroga, otra vez por acá. Vanessa Quiroga es una líder reconocida en la industria financiera con experiencia extensa en el análisis macroeconómico y de los mercados financieros globales, así como de tendencias ASG y de cómo impactan el valor intrínseco de empresas en diversas industrias. Actualmente es socia de Eternal Capital Group, enfocada en inversiones en mercados emergentes. Anteriormente trabajó en Credit Suisse, donde lideró la cobertura de los sectores de metales y minería, cemento y construcción y bienes raíces en los principales países de la región. Su capacidad para adaptar sus habilidades analíticas a diferentes industrias y países es uno de sus principales activos, lo que le ha permitido ganar una alta credibilidad con inversores y clientes. Vanessa es egresada de Economía del Tecnológico de Monterrey y CFA Charter Holder desde 2008. Fue una de las primeras mujeres en México en obtener esa designación. Vanessa es también cofundadora de Mujeres en Finanzas, organización sin fines de lucro que tiene como objetivo proporcionar las herramientas necesarias para que otras mujeres en la industria financiera mexicana avancen en sus carreras. También es mentora en la comunidad de emprendedores por su experiencia en los mercados de valores y levantamientos de capital. Vane, muchas gracias por acompañarnos el día de hoy. Bienvenida. Y también un destacado colega por acá, el contador público Carlos Ponce Bustos, su socio fundador de SNX Constructores de Patrimonios. Carlos es licenciado en Contaduría Pública por parte de la Facultad de Contaduría y Administración de la Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México, de la UNAM. Es consejero del programa de difusión de la Bolsa Mexicana de Valores. Se le reconoce por desarrollar el modelo de inversión bursátil C4, así como por iniciar su propia firma de difusión, análisis y manejo de inversiones, SNX Constructores de Patrimonio. Preside el jurado del Premio Nacional del Mercado de Valores de la Bolsa Mexicana de Valores. Fue director general adjunto en ICSE Grupo Financiero y Grupo Financiero B por Más. Ha escrito libros como La Fórmula, Inversiones en la Bolsa, La Bolsa de Valores es para los niños, El riesgo es no invertir en bolsa o Vacuna Patrimonial, y 9 mitos de la educación financiera en México, por mencionar algunos. Es conferencista exclusivo de Lead Conferenciantes y columnista para El Economista, El Semanario y la revista Veritas. Es titular del Seminario sobre Inversión Bursátil y de la Cátedra de Inversión Patrimonial del programa Asignaturas Empresariales en la Facultad de Contaduría y Administración. Carlos, gracias por acompañarnos. Bienvenido. Y bueno, ¿qué sería de esta competencia sin sus protagonistas? Nuevamente los quiero felicitar por estar aquí el día de hoy. Es un gran paso en su trayectoria académica. un motivo de orgullo y algo que pueden presumir pues de aquí para adelante. Voy a nombrar a las universidades en el orden que las tengo. Les pido que les vayamos dando un aplauso nada más por participar ahorita y ya después muchos aplausos cuando demos los premios finales. Tecnológico de Monterrey, Campus Monterrey, bienvenidos. La participación de las escuelas de Monterrey aquí en la final ha sido ya una constante últimamente. Felicidades también, Universidad de Monterrey. Ganadores hace pocos años de la competencia, que van a tenerlos de vuelta por acá. Universidad de las Américas, Puebla. También un gusto verlos de nuevo en la final después de algunos años y bueno, tengo buenas anécdotas ahí en la escuela. Bienvenidos. Y finalmente otros que también ya se está haciendo constante su participación aquí en la final. Universidad La Salle. Pues bienvenidos a todos. Voy a explicar rapidísimo las reglas de la final. Ya los que leyeron las reglas oficiales más o menos las conocen, pero por si a alguno se le fue, pues las repasamos de volada. A continuación vamos a hacer un sorteo para ver qué equipo presenta en qué orden. Después vamos a pasar a la presentación. Los equipos que no presenten van a estar afuera. Primero pasan y acabando su exposición pasan al tour para que tampoco se me desconcentren. Terminando los 10 minutos de presentación, va a haber una sesión de preguntas y respuestas que también va a durar 10 minutos. Ahí los jueces preguntan de manera libre. Así se hará para los 4 equipos. Los jueces van a llenar el formato de evaluación. Cuando ya tengamos las calificaciones de los 4 equipos, pues vamos a hacer el puntaje final. Es el promedio de los 4 jurados y ese a su vez se va a promediar con lo que sacaron en el trabajo escrito. Y el promedio de ambas calificaciones, trabajo escrito y presentación el día de hoy, pues ya nos va a dar el orden final de los ganadores. Y ya por último, terminando todo el evento, nos encantaría que nos acompañen a un brindis aquí afuera del auditorio. ¿Va?
Good afternoon. We're the team from Universidad La Salle presenting our evaluation for FIBRA Monterrey. We issue a buy recommendation with a 2025 target price of 15.43 Mexican pesos. Representing a 49% upside potential based on the following key drivers. Smart capitalization on nearshoring trends with strategic acquisitions bolstered by strong industrial demand and economies of scale. Financial discipline and high governance standards, including internalized management. FIBRAs are investment vehicles for boosting Mexican real estate. Consider hybrid instruments due to offering bond-like returns from rental income and the possibility of capital appreciation. FIBRA Monterrey specializes in high-quality industrial real estate, also holding office properties from which they plan to divest in order to reinvest the proceeds in the booming industrial sector or share buybacks. The FIBRA is currently in an expansion phase and has grown 8-fold since its IPO in 2014, most notably in 2023 with the SUS portfolio acquisition, doubling its gross leasable area and currently owning 112 properties. This growth is supported by high occupancy levels and strong industrial demand due to nearshoring. And while this trend hasn't materialized nationwide, Monterrey smartly capitalizes on it by owning properties along the US-Mexico border and expanding in key regions such as Nuevo León and Querétaro, with high-quality tenants such as Whirlpool, Yasaki, SIG, and OmniLife. This growth leverages economies of scale, with revenue growing at a fast-paced 16% CAGR from 2019 to 2024, while costs remain low and stable, and showing healthy and consistent margins such as FFO at 70%, EBITDA at 80%, and noise surpassing 90%, outperforming industrial peers. FIBRA's competitive environment has intensified due to the consolidation by large players such as Funo and Prologis, with Monterrey remaining competitive due to its 8.4% cap rate, reflecting high return on property investments, and a dividend yield often surpassing 9%, above industrial peers. Adding that to a weighted average lease term of 4.9 years and an occupancy rate above 96%, FIBRA Monterrey ensures stable cash flows, positioning itself as a solid competitor with favorable growth perspectives.
FIBRA Monterrey has demonstrated prudent management even during several expansions. Their ability to refinance under favorable terms and fund expansions with equity We project that FIBRA Monterrey will maintain healthy solvency and liquidity trends, keeping a low loan-to-value. On asset value, their growth is remarkable, achieving a CAGR of 13%. Their pro forma ROE and ROA metrics reflect consistent operational improvements, a trend we expect to continue. Let me highlight FIBRA Monterrey ESG initiatives. With 19 LEED certified properties, they prioritize energy efficiency and sustainability. In 2022, they installed solar panels, reducing electricity consumption. They emphasize social responsibility and diversity. This commitment has been recognized by 50/50 Women on Boards and CEMEFI, and they rank among Mexico's best places to work. They also are the highest rated FIBRA in S&P. They uphold a zero tolerance policy toward corruption, guided by their code of ethics and frequent audits, while integrating ESG factors into investment decisions. How does this impact valuation? FIBRA Monterrey benefits from two key factors: the environmental and social premium. According to McKinsey & Company, ESG programs reduce financing costs, so we applied a positive premium of 25 basis points to growth projection, and a governance premium. A study by EY shows that internal managed REITs outperform externally managed ones by 240 basis points annually. FIBRA Monterrey management structure leads us to apply a negative premium of 25 basis points to their cost of equity in the WACC calculation.
Now that we have discussed the strong financial performance and the ESG factors of FIBRA Monterrey, let's delve into the numbers. We conduct our valuation in US dollars, and most of the revenue of FIBRA Monterrey is dollarized at 35%. Then, we made several key assumptions regarding FIBRA Monterrey operations. First, we assumed that FIBRA Monterrey will successfully divest from its underperforming properties by 2026. Second, FIBRA Monterrey will exercise available credit lines in order to complete this pilot acquisition while maintaining an LTV below 35%. Second, we calculate our perpetual growth rate at 2% and is derived from CPI projections in the United States. And last, we calculate our WACC at 7.75%, incorporating UMS bonds to address dollar revenue and control risk. We employ a blended methodology to derive our target price of $0.77 US dollars or 15.43 Mexican pesos, representing a 49% upside to the current price. We employ a discounted cash flow to firm with a target price of $0.73 US dollars and a weighting of 40%. By reflecting FIBRA Monterrey's ability to generate cash above working capital and capital expenditures, this model was discounted with the WACC. Second, we employ a discounted fund for operation with a target price of $0.86 US dollars and a weighting of 30%, and this model was discounted with the cost of equity. Third, we employ a dividend discount model with a target price of $0.83 US dollars and a weighting of 15%. By assessing the value generated by REITs through dividends, and this model was also discounted with the with the cost of equity. And last, we employ a relative valuation by making comparisons with peers such as FIBRA Uno, Terrafina, Macquarie, and Prologis. While this approach effectively benchmarks FIBRA Monterrey against industry standards, it doesn't reflect FIBRA Monterrey internal conditions and ability to expand. For this model, we employ forward multiples for 2025 and value derived from our own model. We conduct Monte Carlo simulations in our models to assess different scenarios by stressing 5 key parameters, resulting in a majority of the outcomes above the current price, showing us a limited downside. The
There are three critical variables that impacts our valuation models: occupancy rates, WACC, and perpetual growth rate. These factors are influenced by exogenous risks. However, FIBRA Monterrey has effective policies and hedging strategies to address these challenges. To mitigate interest rate fluctuation and exchange rate volatility, FIBRA Monterrey employs derivative financial instruments as a measure to ensure that at least 80% of its long-term debt is at fixed rate, and to mitigate the risk associated with capital raise in Mexican pesos and dollar debt obligations. Climate change and energy challenges are managed through adherence to ESG principles, earning key certifications, acquiring stabilized properties, and investing in water-efficient technologies and renewable energy infrastructure. These initiatives ensure that the operational costs will reduce and enhancing sustainability and resilience. Social instability and political uncertainty is addressed by FIBRA Monterrey by strengthening its specialized security measure and maintaining strategic legal relationships within its suppliers. Today, we assert that FIBRA Monterrey stands out in the market with a strong. Today, we assert that FIBRA Monterrey stands out in the market with a strong ESG commitments and disciplined financial management, attractive cap rates near 8%, and sustained asset value growth. FIBRA Monterrey exemplifies resilience, profitability, and leadership in the real estate sector, supporting our buy recommendation with an upside of 49%. Thanks for your attention, and we look forward to your questions.
Thank you for the presentation and congratulations. I guess I can start with a question about the ESG, how you considered ESG in the financial analysis and valuation. So can you repeat how you use the ESG metrics for valuation?
Okay, we apply two premiums. The first one is the environmental and social premium. This was because, according to McKinsey and Company, ESG programs reduce financing costs. So we applied a positive premium of 25 basis points to grow projections. And the second one is the governance premium. This was based in a study by EY that says internal managed REITs outperform externally managed ones by 240 basis points annually. So that's why we apply a negative premium to the WACC calculation, because these reduce the ESG programs reduce the risk perceiving by the investors.
Okay, thank you. And the other question that I have is about M&A. You incorporated both disposals and acquisitions. Did you assume any risk of those being completed at different prices or different times than guidance?
Well, we assume that FIBRA Monterrey will divest from their underperforming properties, and the proceeds will be reinvested in the industrial expansions and also in share buybacks. But we assume that FIBRA Monterrey will complete the PUEBLA acquisition by 2027. they will acquire some percentage in the 25 to 26 and 27, but we didn't consider any risk of the current or other prices, which we assume that Fibra Monterrey will complete the private acquisition at the values today. Because I think we were going to speculate if we are going to say the price maybe go down or up to complete that acquisition.
Hi, thanks. Congratulations on the presentation. I think you did great slides, although it was a little bit too quick jumping from one to another, but in general, I think the quality was very good. I have a question on the financial side and valuation particularly. So could you tell me what are the 3 key metrics that you have considering to valuation to compare Fibra Monterrey to other peers and to conclude that it's an attractive valuation? Because it's not only the potential upside you see on the target price, but also on a relative basis, how does it look versus peers? Thanks.
Well, we consider Fibra Monterrey stands above its peers because of the first of the internalized management. Internalized management aligns shareholders' interest with the management interest. This is reflected in the margins that are above the peers. Can you read that? Okay. This is the position of Fibra Monterrey against peers in the margins. That's why in the presentation I mentioned that it's outperforming peers. This spread is due to other externally managed rates charge a commission above the FFO and other margins. Fibra Monterrey doesn't. Fibra Monterrey incentivizes the acquisitions to really generate value. That can also be seen in the cap rate of 8.4% that reflects high returns on property investments. It's above big peers such as Prologis. And another key factor is the smart capitalization on nearshoring. Fibra Monterrey specializes in high-quality industrial real estate, but the focus is in key regions that are expanding, such as El Bajío, Querétaro, and Nuevo León. It also takes advantages from lease arbitrage, and my partner can talk a little bit about that.
Sure, as my partner mentioned, Monterrey has an opportunity for lease arbitrage. This means that the cost of operating industrial space in the United States is higher than in Mexico. Here we create an index map, so with 4 important costs that we consider, such as monthly rent, electricity costs, and labor costs, and weather costs. As you can see, the Mexican operations are cheaper for foreign investors and firms. That's why Fibra Monterrey can leverage this opportunity, and the firms can do cross-border operations, maintaining a high-quality portfolio, and also Fibra Monterrey has a lot of properties in the north region of the country.
Congratulations for your presentation. As Hector said, all of you are winners. Remember this center. You never lose. You win or you learn, and you're learning too much today. Okay. And now my question is, a significant part of the business of Fibra Monterrey is related with the automotive sector. Now that with the new U.S. government, with the Trump as a new president, how do you think the idea of some new taxes could affect the estimates that you are doing in the company?
Well, the tariffs are caused a lot of noise at the current date, but we consider that these tariffs could affect the occupancy rate of Fibra Monterrey. So the occupancy rate is vital for revenue generation, and risk, such as you mentioned, one, risks such as economic downturns and geopolitical tensions from U.S. new administration and USMCA renegotiation could affect the tenant demand. But with varied occupancy rates between 80% at the current 97.58%, with 80% reflecting significant market challenges. And even with an 80% devaluation still above the current market price. And even with a 61%, the valuation remained the current intrinsic value of the stock.
Okay, thank you very much. Another quick question, and probably this is not very easy, and I'm going to make this question not as an analyst, as an investor. Why I should invest in Fibra Monterrey if during the last 5 years the price of the stock has been declined around 8%, and in the same period the Mexico index stock has been growing around 60%, and the story is not very different from the past to today. So what do you think about it?
First of all, we consider Fibra Monterrey certificate doesn't reflect the actual intrinsic value of the stock, of the certificate, sorry. We consider Fibra Monterrey has real growth opportunities with the reaccommodation of the supply chains, and that is already reflected in their margins and in their revenue growth. It's not just a speculation, it's something that is already happening, and those expansions they have already show income. The second one is, can you repeat me the second question, please?
No, it's just the second is that the movement of the stock has been different from the rest of the Mexican companies. The company price stock has been down around 8% during the last 5 years.
Okay, that has been because of dilution. As Fibra Monterrey has a great capacity to raise equity to finance their expansions, that also may dilute their certificate, but still, dividend yield compensates the investors for that question. I would say invest in Fibra Monterrey because they have an aggressive expansion that is leveraging with economies of scale. They have financial discipline, their interests are shared with the investors' interests, so you can be sure that the growth they experience will be in your favor and will really benefit you in the future. They really smartly capitalize on nearshoring and are already absorbing these trends.
Tiempo.
Mexican pesos and 41 cents. That's our target price for Fibra Monterrey certificate, which we believe to be undervalued, representing an 18% upside potential from November closing price. And that's why we issue a buy recommendation driven by 3 key factors. Its exponential growth, expansion strategy, and healthy capital structure. We are Team Universidad de las Américas Puebla, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. So, what's exactly Fibra Monterrey? It is a Mexican REIT focused on leasing industrial properties, along with commercial and office spaces. Its rental income primarily depends on the financial health of its tenants, and since most of its revenue is dollar denominated, the exchange rate can also impact its financial performance. Regarding the first key driver, there are 80 million square meters of industrial GLA in Mexico, expected to grow 10% in 2026. However, 2/3 of them are still in private hands, which means there is a significant room for growth.
The Mexican industrial real estate sector has benefited greatly from nearshoring. Together with Fibra Monterrey, REITs like Prologis, Macquarie, and Terrafina have a substantial piece of the pie. These are Fibra Monterrey main competitors, and all of them report a bigger GLA, a higher occupancy rate, and more rental revenue than the company. You might be right to be suspicious about it, but we believe it's a sign of the company's high growth potential. Given its size, it's easy for the company to grow at higher rate than for its competitors, as we have seen in the recent years with the acquisition of sales portfolio that doubles the GLA in just 1 year. Fibra Monterrey has the objective to acquire and expand up to $700 million Just in 2024, it achieved more than the half of it. We estimate that this goal will mean a GLA CAGR of 30.2%. For this potential to be realized, the company depends on its expansion strategy. FIBRA Monterrey cares about the quality of its tenants. That's why most of them are internationally recognized companies across various sectors, with the automobile industry representing 29% of its revenue. Its investments focus on stabilized properties, dollar-denominated leases, and triple net leases structure, which translate as a lower cost for the company. This has led to shift their investment strategy into the industrial sector. With that in mind, its projected investment focus on this sector and on disinvest on non-performing assets such as offices, which tend to have a lower occupancy rate.
Our projections consider the company's acquisition goals. We developed a two-stage plan to model a rapid growth with aggressive acquisitions and then stabilized and more balanced investments. The projected capex was included in the GLA per segment and then divided by geographical zone. That level of detail allowed us to forecast revenues more accurately, with the projected GLA per zone, occupancy rate, and renting prices in dollars and in pesos. The company's expansion would not be possible without its ability to take opportunities, which comes from its capital structure. FIBRA Monterrey is the REIT with most issuances in the VNB. Through its certificates, it distributes all of its AFFO monthly, with a dividend yield of 7.6% the past year. It issues new certificates for acquisitions. Then, if the price is believed to be undervalued, they buy them back, thus decreasing dilution, something very good for investors. On the debt side, the company has a AA local credit rating. It has successfully renegotiated loans interest thanks to its credibility with financial institutions. Also, it has protected from floating rates with swaps. Currently, it has a debt level of 25.8%, below its 35% self-imposed maximum. As we said, a healthy capital structure.
The capital structure of the company is possible due to its solid corporate governance. As it is internally managed and 80% of its board is independent, it ensures an alignment of interests. For this, governance is its strongest ESG factor. On the environmental side, its CO2 emissions have increased due to its portfolio growth. To mitigate its impact, it has created a plan for Scope 2 emissions. Nevertheless, we believe it should be focused on Scope 3, as it includes its tenants' emissions. On the bright side, it has some green awards. On the social aspect, FIBRA Monterrey is a zero-accident space, has several programs with NGOs, a positive work environment, and a strong female representation in its workforce. Nevertheless, it has reduced its training time on women employees, which could affect their professional development. The company's governance is the highest rated among its peers. Some of its positive aspects include a code of ethics and conduct, whistleblowing mechanism, anti-corruption policies, and protection against cyber attacks. Also, it emits a transition risk report concerning the company's ability to meet future environmental requirements. Moreover, it does a materiality analysis and double materiality analysis to tackle its main concerns. Energy, water, and climate change yield the highest importance. However, the technical committee designed to oversee them lacks preparation in these areas.
We use three methodologies divided into core and supporting valuation. The core methodologies are a discounted funds from operations, dividend discount model, and net asset value, while the supporting materials were a DCF and a multiple analysis. Also, we conducted a sensibility analysis for each method using the core aspects that might affect the output price. We use an NAV analysis, a key methodology in the sector, as it represents the company net worth by factoring the real estate fair value assets, cash, and liabilities. Based on its cap rate and projected NOI growth over the next year, our analysis yields an undervalued stock, representing that the market has not fully recognized its strong fundamentals.
Mexican REITs must distribute at least 95% of its tax results, which makes these companies attractive to investors. However, Fibra Monterrey's effective distribution is not only that, but 96% of its current year's AFFO. Discounting this with the cost of equity yields an upside price per certificate, which reflects the company's dividend growth potential driven by its strategic and accretive acquisitions. Funds from operations is the metric by excellence for REITs because it reflects the company's cash-generating ability from its core operations, rental income. For that reason, we discounted the FFO to obtain a price per certificate. Its upside shows a higher operating cash efficiency than the market realizes. As thorough as we were to make the best possible projections, we know that forecasting is not an exact science, which is why we took some of the main risks and sensibilized some metrics to obtain a bearish and a bullish scenario. Said metrics are the perpetuity growth rate, occupancy rate, capex, depreciation, and the exchange rate. Now, you may be wondering what must happen for the market and the target price to converge. Well, we believe that these are the main catalysts. First, a progress on the 2026 growth strategy through acquisitions and expansions to catch up and compete with top players. Second, an increase in GLA and occupancy rate to enhance rental income and thus obtain consistent results. And third, nearshoring as a unique growth lever, with Mexico as the second largest exporter to the US, the rising demand of industrial properties, and the export growth led by the automotive sector. High growth potential, expansion strategy, and healthy funding structure. These are the key drivers that yield our valuation and the reason we issue a buy recommendation. Thank you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Congrats on the presentation. It was very good to see you. My question is regarding the valuation. Discounting versus net asset value has been high for some time now. And why do you think this is happening? And what do you think the market needs to see to recognize this value you are talking about?
Sorry, do you mean the reason behind the net asset value valuation, or could you repeat?
The discount of the market price versus the net asset value.
Okay.
Or your target price. What do you think the market needs to know for the price to go to your target price?
Great. As we mentioned, we identified three catalysts that might help the price to converge to the current valuation. These catalysts, could you put the slides, please, are divided in three aspects. Two are internal of the REIT, regarding the progression in these 2022-2026 plan that they have, and they have reached almost more than the half of this plan of invest $700 million in acquisitions and expansions. Also, another catalyst that we see that might help the price to converge to our target price is basically that Fibra Monterrey has been doing great acquisitions through portfolio sales, Batage, Aerotech. So we consider that they will be able to continue acquiring in this pipeline. So this will help the market to recognize its strong capacity to generate value to its shareholders. And finally, the nearshoring, that is more like a macro catalyst, that we consider that besides all these strong threats, we consider that the nearshoring will continue driving the growth of the industrial sector in Mexico.
Could you tell me, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congrats on the presentation. It was very good. Could you tell us a little bit about Fibra Monterrey versus other players in the market? I would like to see a little bit more of the comparison you have done, because although it's a potential buy and you have very concrete catalysts to actually converge to the target price, how does it look versus the industry? If you can go deeper a little bit there.
To the peers, right?
Sorry?
To the peers?
Yes.
Okay.
Versus the peer group.
Versus the peers. Well, we see Fibra Monterrey as a small player in the industry versus its peers, but we see that they have a strong corporate governance that the market could see that, and that's why we see that happening. And also, they have a good debt level, maximum level of 35%, and they can make good acquisitions in times across other fibras or other rates.
And there are also another key advantages talking about Fibra Monterrey, like the one that is one of the REITs that are internally management. These key aspects allows them to have higher operating margins than the other REITs. So as we can see, as my teammates say, Fibra Monterrey is still a small REIT if we compare with other players in the market. However, we consider that these aspects, such as these operating leverage, high corporate governance standards, and creating acquisitions plans can make that Fibra Monterrey can grow and take another slice of the pie regarding the real estate market.
Thank you, and congrats as well. I would like you to discuss what could be the risks in terms of cost of capital for Fibra Monterrey if things go on the bear case scenario. I think that you didn't do a sensitivity analysis on cost of capital, but what do you think you could reflect the risks on cost of capital?
Yes, well, thank you for your question. In the risk matrix is not included the cost of capital, as you mentioned, but the cost of capital is deeply influenced by macroeconomic factors. If you could put the discount factor. Here, as you can see, it's how we calculated the cost of equity for a company with a risk-free rate based on the US 10-year Treasury bond from the United States. And the equity risk premium was calculated as the United States equity risk premium based on Damodaran, and a country risk premium for Mexico. And then a beta a real levered beta from the rate industry. So as you can see, the cost of equity would be deeply affected by macroeconomic factors affecting both the US and Mexico in the country's risk side.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just one more question. Can you tell us something about the buyback program of the company and how this could impact the company valuation?
Thank you. Carlos, right?
Yes.
Perfect. You mean the SPEFIs, or the certificates buyback?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Well, the company has, specifically in this last year, it has made a lot of these buybacks.
Mm-hmm.
According to the reports, they do it because they believe the price to be undervalued. Especially again in this year, the price of the certificate has gone very low in particular. So we expect the company to keep doing this buyback if the price is still low, and if they don't have any project, so they can use the money in that project. I don't know if that's helpful.
Yes, but do you think that this is do you think that this is really a main positive factor of the company, and do this really could affect the valuation in the future? Because when you comment us about the catalyst, you didn't mention this, but probably it's because it's not as important as the other one.
We think it's important, but as you also said, it's not like the most important thing according to our valuation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have time? Okay. I would like to ask you about the M&A assumptions. What price of disposal and acquisition did you assume, and what are the risks to those assumptions?
Great. We built this projection. Let me find, where is it?
How important are those assumptions for your valuation?
Great. I mean, my team can help me to look for that slide. However, the assumption that we make to project the GLA growth, that is one of the drivers of the valuation, is that basically Fibra Monterrey is going to be able to fulfill its growth 2026 growth plan regarding the investment of 700 million divided into acquisitions and expansions. So as we can see here, basically we are projecting that they will be able to keep the confidence of the market to be able to fund these capital to continue acquiring new properties. And also we are projecting that they will be able to fulfill the pipeline that they reported in the third quarter report. Basically, Fibra Monterrey has already a pipeline with a total of 823 million. So basically, we are considered that they will be able to fulfill this acquisition pipeline. And some of the risks that we can see regarding this is that they won't be able to keep the confidence in the market to be able to fund its acquisitions through capital emissions or through debt.
Thank you.
I don't know if that clarifies the question or...
Yeah, it's a big risk, but yeah, understood.
Yeah, of course, but we consider that it's something regarding the market. As we know, Fibra needs to distribute most of its net revenue across its investors. So basically, we consider that it's one of the natures of the industry to grow through these inorganic ways.
Good evening. Today we are proudly representing Universidad de Monterrey, and we're about to present our project valuation for Fibra Monterrey. We would like to issue a strong buy recommendation based on a 12-month target price of 14.33 Mexican pesos, representing a 36.48 total return upside since last November's close. Our recommendation is based on 3 thesis points. First, the new fish survives and prospers among sharks. Second, Fibra Monterrey, where vision and strategy meet financial strength. And third, growth potential with the willingness to expand.
Fibra Monterrey is a standout player in the Mexican real estate investment trust market. Since its founding, Fibra Monterrey has adhered to a disciplined strategic approach focused on 3 key pillars: high corporate governance standards, a cap leverage at 35%, and the avoidance of speculative developments. All of this has enabled stable growth and a reputation of reliability within its industry. Additionally, Fibra Monterrey operates with a diversified client base, where no single tenant contributes to more than 10% of its total income, allowing resilience and reducing dependency on any single source. Geographically, Fibra Monterrey's properties are distributed across 14 states, primarily focusing on the northern region of Mexico, aligning with the growing nearshoring trend which drives demand for industrial space. Industrial properties dominate Fibra Monterrey's portfolio, contributing to 74% of its total income. With an impressive portfolio-wide occupancy rate of 94.1%, Fibra Monterrey generates stable, dollarized income streams that are tied to inflation, further safeguarding investor returns.
Analyzing the dynamics within the rate industry, we observe critical valuation trends that highlight opportunities for growth. From a performance perspective, we can observe that earnings have contracted by 7.8%, while revenue has contracted by 9.6%, both reflecting post-pandemic adjustments. However, this has been counterbalanced by the ongoing nearshoring boom that's solidifying Mexico's position as a logistics hub, especially in regions like Nuevo León and Coahuila, while foreign direct investment has been growing at 7% year over year, directly boosting demand for real estate. These dynamics underscore the resilience and adaptability of the REIT industry, especially in Mexico, where macroeconomic stability and strategic opportunities are paving the way for sustained growth.
Emerging as leader in a competitive Mexican REIT market, FIBRA Monterrey distinguishes itself through its exceptional strategic execution and financial resilience. It has successfully capitalized on the nearshoring trend by addressing growing demand in northern Mexico's industrial zones. What truly sets FIBRA Monterrey apart is its position as the only Mexican REIT with a policy of consistent AFFO payout distributions nearing 100%. Based on our analysis, FIBRA Monterrey demonstrates financial strength through a leveraged approach of debt-to-assets ratio of approximately 30%. Its 80% dollarized revenue provide a natural hedge against currency volatility, while its high occupancy rates ensure stable cash flows, reflecting a robust and scalable financial strategy. With strong liquidity, FIBRA Monterrey is able to meet short-term financial obligations while still being able to pursue strategic acquisitions, including an $823.6 million investment pipeline, delivering stable cash flows while maintaining a cautious approach to leverage, position FIBRA Monterrey to capture sustained value in an evolving REIT market.
Based on our analysis, FIBRA Monterrey is a standout performer in the Mexican REIT sector, showcasing consistent growth throughout the years, driven by our robust strategy. Our findings highlight the synergy of strategic acquisitions of high-yield properties, in which we projected the $823.6 million of pipeline through the years of 2024 to 2028, showcasing a significant growth in its revenue and NOI. In the case of nearshoring, FIBRA Monterrey is capitalizing on its momentum, with industry properties contributing to almost 75% of its total revenue. This industry asset focus ensures stable and reliable income streams. As a rising star, FIBRA Monterrey continues to outperform its peers in key financial metrics. FIBRA Monterrey maintains a superior NOI margin, surpassing most of its competitors, showing an demonstrating efficient operations. Thank you so much. I'm a little bit scared. Demonstrating efficient operations and generating robust income streams. In the case of the AFFO payout ratio, FIBRA Monterrey pays nearly 100%, differentiating it from its peers. I'm so sorry. Our findings highlight FIBRA Monterrey's average dividend yield. Our findings highlight how FIBRA Monterrey is strengthening its position in the Mexican REIT sector with an average dividend yield of 8%, surpassing the average industry. And by maintaining a leverage coverage ratio of 25 to 35%, FIBRA Monterrey minimizes financial strength, minimizes financial risk, and ensures capital allocations.
For the valuation, we're using a dividend discount model. We find this methodology suitable, given regulatory requirements of Mexican REITs distributing at least 95% of their taxable income. Using the following assumptions in a 100% of adjusted funds from operation as stated by the company policy, we find a final price of 1453 Mexican pesos with an implied dividend of 1.09. We believe growth is going to be mainly driven because of additional revenue generated from expansions and acquisitions, and we anticipate that the continued depreciation of the Mexican peso will remain an advantage for the company's performance. For the second methodology, we're using a profit model. A profit model uses market prices and also captures long-term trends in the market, seasonality, and external information. And we believe that this and stocks momentum will capture structural shifts that the company is going through, with a final price of 13.53 Mexican pesos. As an overall, we're weighting dividend discount model at 80%. Because we believe that the main value of the company is driven because of its capacity of generating income and distributing it among its investors. And 20% of the profit model because it reflects the structural switches that the company is going through. With a blended price of 14.33 Mexican pesos and a total return upside of 36.48%.
Now let's evaluate some key risks for Fibra Monterrey and their mitigations. First, with demand and occupancy, we evaluate nearshoring slowing down and negatively impacting income, which could be mitigated by portfolio adjustments and long-term leases. Next, interest rate risk would be mitigated by hedging and swaps. Furthermore, with regulatory risk, we assess policy shifts or non-compliance that could be mitigated by proper monitoring and audits. And finally, for operational and acquisition risk, we evaluate mitigation would be held through proper firm's due diligence.
ESG strategies are no longer optional, are key to ensure long-term success and investor confidence. Fibra Monterrey is setting high standards in the governance, with 80% of board independence and also aligning with investors' interests through transparent payouts and share trust-linked management incentives with a 3-year vesting period, ensuring long-term performance. On the environmental front, the company is committed to net zero emissions by 2050 and is showing progress towards electricity consumption reduction year over year. Overall, in the water management, the company is a benchmark for the industry, outperforming the peer average. Socially, the company is focused on tenant well-being, with 80% on tenant rate satisfaction rate of the tenants, and also showing commitments towards other social causes. Overall, we give Fibra Monterrey a score of 73 out of 100, based on 46 ESG metrics, establishing Fibra Monterrey as a forward-thinking investment in the REIT industry.
Now, Fibra Monterrey is not just a REIT, it's a trailblazer. With a strategic vision fueled by strong liquidity, disciplined leverage, and industry-leading governance, it thrives as a trusted partner in a booming nearshoring economy. This is your opportunity to invest in a rising star that delivers growth, stability, and unparalleled value. Don't just invest in real estate. Invest in the future with Fibra Monterrey. We reinforce our strong buy recommendation with a target price of 14.33 Mexican pesos. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks for the presentation and congrats, you did great. Can you go back to a place where, a slide where you had, I believe it was the industry growth, revenues growth, that was -9 and -7? It was in the beginning. I just was wondering what that was. So earnings and revenue down. Could you share with us a little bit more of that? What's the time frame for that earnings and revenue growth, and is it taking into consideration all the fibras? That's first question. And second, is that in dollar terms or is it in peso? Because with the current depreciation of the peso, is that affected by effects, or is it on a same currency level?
Yes, so for earnings and revenue, contractions, we evaluate the industry in this year, how it has behaved. And we evaluate that even if the industry has had these contractions, which are relevant, they both reflect still post-pandemic adjustments. And even if, it's not maybe a great, number to be showcased, it's important to evaluate that these numbers are positively going to change and that they're going to be adjusted into a growing industry scenario in the future. And these numbers, well, they were based, yes, on the industry growth from last year.
So it's just 1 year, so this year, and I guess it's in pesos, right? Pesos to pesos, so that's considering the currency depreciation. Okay, thanks.
Thank you for the presentation. Can you go back on your valuation techniques slide, and if you could, the next one. Can you elaborate a little bit more on this quant model and how it works, etc., etc.?
Yes, we're just going to share our appendix relevant to this question.
Could you repeat the question again? Sorry.
If you can show us how this model works for getting a target price.
Yeah, definitely. So we're using a trend set. We're using data from the stock since 2014 until October this year. So this quantitative model uses these patterns of the previous price, of the price, historic price, and detects patterns in the market. So also using momentums that the stock's been gathering since 2020 after the pandemic, we were able to get to a price that it's better, and that is more appealing than today's price. I don't know if you want to add something?
Well, just to add a little bit, we chose the profit model because it's an advanced forecasting technique. It has it handles nonlinear trends for precise long-term forecasts. Since we use the profit model to forecast to 2024 to 2025, and it has a proven financial time series with seasonal and trend shifts, and also it identifies the structural trend changes with an automatic change detection adjust for abrupt shifts. As you can see in this one, FIRA Monterrey's stock price has had an abrupt shift in 2020 because of the COVID. So yeah, that's why we chose the profit model, because it detects the patterns influenced by market and economic fluctuations.
Okay, thank you, Vanessa. On the real estate sector, the interest rate and the growth of the economy are two important variables. What are you estimate in terms of these two variables in the future?
Scenario analysis, el blended solution.
For our scenario analysis, we established the key metrics that influence the price of the stock, and we moved these metrics to establish a bull and bear scenario based on the economic conditions that are presenting and are evolving. So we decided to work with the cap rate, the cost of debt, the inflation, occupancy rate, and the effectiveness of the occupancy rate in the operating costs.
I would like to add something to that question, if that's permitted. Okay, I would just like to add something very shortly from nearshoring that we mentioned a lot during our presentation, and that it's relevant to the economic forecast that we have and to the current scenario that we're facing here in Mexico. And we are certain that we're heading towards a good scenario, even if we are facing difficulties and some very precise threats in the trade, in our international trade commerce regulations, we're certain that we're going towards a good path, and that even if the treaty shifts or it goes into bilateral agreements, a grace period of up to 10 years would, under the current legislation, would allow for gradual adjustments. So we're not worried about the downsides that or the risks that could be presented with these ongoing trends in nearshoring and in the threats that are given to us or that are being presented as an economic probable recession. We think that the industrial space occupancy has reached already record levels, and that it's heading towards a better position. So, that's our.
I wanted to
That's our
add also
statement.
something about the interest rates. So is there any risk for the firm? The firm has all of its debts in dollars and interest rates in dollars. So Mexican rates moving up and down here won't affect the company, but in the US it will do, but the company has hedging strategies with swaps, so that doesn't occur.
Okay. No, I'm asking for the interest rate, not for the financial of the company. In terms of the people who want to rent the space, the interest rate is a significant factor. That's right. Okay.
For people who want to invest in the company?
No, who want to rent some of the property of FIBRA Monterrey.
Well, increasing interest rates makes contracts less attractive.
Mm-hmm.
However, FIBRA Monterrey has established long-term leases which allow that are tied to inflation. So this allows further safeguarding against these economic changes.
Okay.
More questions on valuation. So on the bear case, you assume lower cap rate. How do you incorporate that assumption? Because lower cap rates are more related to bullish scenarios in real estate. How do you use this assumption?
Could you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
What do you do with the cap rate on a very scenario? Exactly what do you do in the model?
Could you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
Yes. How do you use the cap rate in your valuation model in a very scenario?
Yeah, so we're using cap rate to calculate the implied dividend of the stock price. So we are multiplying final and terminal cash and terminal assets that the company has. So if you go to the previous slide.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we come from Tec de Monterrey to present you a buy recommendation with a 12-month target price of 14.01, an upside of 33.4%, taking the close price of the day's report. FIBRA Monterrey is the first 100% real estate investment trust with 112 properties, presence in 14 states of Mexico, and a high occupancy rate. The management, financial structure, growth strategy result in a high-quality portfolio. In the graph to the left, we can appreciate a strong increase in revenue and a progressive transformation into industrial sector, with a 29.9% of 5-year CAGR. The segment represents
72% of the total revenue breakdown in the third quarter 24. Fibra Monterrey is concentrated in the northern region of Mexico, but principally focused in Nuevo León, representing 37% of the total gross leasable area. The top client base in the industry is automotive and components with 29%. The cap rate is mainly below the market, except in the industrial region and in the Bajío, representing at 24% of the total revenue in the third quarter 24. And analyzing the top plant acquisition, it was a sale and leaseback transaction with a triple net contract extended into 2031.
Having a broad outlook in the rate market in Mexico, we have that Fibra Monterrey, despite the small portion of the market, has achieved high operational and financial metrics, outstanding the financial revenue in the last 5 years. In the industrial sector, Monterrey and the region Bajío has experienced a strong demand and growth, representing reflecting higher inventory increase and a low vacancy rate. The home of its offices in Monterrey and Guadalajara, the demand overpassed the supply by making net absorption positive and higher rent prices. Moving into our recommendation, we analyze Monterrey and conclude with three main factors. First, the ability to capitalize nearshoring. Secondly, strong growth strategy through acquisitions and a consistent income structure. Fibra Monterrey highly benefits for the position in Mexico's phenomenon nearshoring. This is mainly due to proximity to the US and the cost-efficient workforce. The northern region where Fibra Monterrey is located had a higher stake of gross absorption demand, and Asia leads the demand for productive lands with 48% and 60% overall Asia. Manufacturing itself represented 53% of total FDI, mainly in automotive and electronics. This, with Nuevo León as chartered leader, represents and illustrates the ability to Fibra Monterrey to capitalize these trends and the privileged positioning.
The automotive industry ranks at the 7th place in global production and accounts for 24% of the total FDI in Mexico. The production and exports broke a record in year-to-date September 24 compared to the last 10 years. And in the electric vehicles revenue, we can see a forecast in the next 5 years of 9% year over year.
Let's start with our second driver, the strong growth strategy. Well, Fibra Monterrey expands its portfolio by acquisitions, and it's mainly focused on acquisitions. I think we can see the most recent ones, Aerotech and Zeus. These acquisitions represented in these years, in the post-pandemic years, and growth position after the pandemic. And not also for acquisitions, Fibra Monterrey leverage its capability of generating economies of scale by lowering the management fees. So the management is thinking more in profitability and high quality assets than expanding in acquisitions. And let's take a look at the pipeline. Here we can see that the focus of Fibra Monterrey is mainly in industrial high quality assets, while the investment in offices with underperforming profitability, unless it's offices like Torres Moradas or La Perla in Guadalajara City.
This growth comes together with a consistent and robust income structure. Fibra Monterrey has maintained an occupancy rate above 90%. And even if their peers outperformed them, it was mainly because they're highly in the industrial sector, which naturally they have a low tenant turnover, given the complexity of the production processes. Additionally, they have a really optimal maturity on WALT over 4.8 years, given that Also, they
have great income in industry segment, and they are also capitalizing on offices. But to be honest, now they are selling some offices because they are observing that they aren't that efficient. We are also seeing that they have income in USD and they have expenses in Mexican pesos. That's an advantage. Also, they have a debt that is with dollars. Now let's talk about the ESG.
Well, when we're talking about Fibra Monterrey ESG, our analysis highlights that we're talking about the rate with the highest governance score, mainly because of the management and the acquisition fees that they have, but also an opportunity in environmental impact due to the industrial concentration and a lot of opportunity in social impact. The governance management of Fibra Monterrey is mainly, the main advantage of Fibra Monterrey management is that the fees of acquisitions is not related to quantity, but more for quality. And also, Fibra Monterrey is investing a lot in energies due to the industry concentration, and also there's a lot of improvement in the management and in the social board members.
Fibra Monterrey has demonstrated a consistent operational efficiency, given that their margins of both on NOI and EBITDA have been stable. Also, they have been able to provide a value to their investors, given that they have been able to outperform reference rates. In this case, last year they were able to outperform the Mexican government bonds with a 10-year maturity. Besides that, they have been able to reflect their commitment to give value to their investors. You can see it reflected on the dividends that have been paid from the third quarter from the 2023 to the third quarter of the 2024 with a 9.7 CAGR in dividends. Also, they have been able to show a steady growth in their NAV, given to their exceptional acquisitions, their debt management, and their structured capital, which is basically how they manage their certificates in terms of follow-ons and repurchases. They've been able to be within the range that they established under debt ratio, which was 25% and 35% of debt out of the total asset value.
Now let's talk about evaluation methods. We used 5 methods: DCF, DDM, net asset value, and sum of the parts. This was a really interesting and challenging part, because in the sum of the parts, we developed a research on the markets in which Fibra Monterrey has properties. So for example, we researched the price per square meter in rent and in sale to get a cap rate in average, and to compare it and to have a price of each property of all the portfolio. That was the sum of the parts. We also have the net asset value and the DDM, where we observe a really great growth. Just imagine that in only 12 years, you could recover your investment. We also have some bull scenario with the CBFI repurchase, really important. Next please. And we also found a quantitative analysis. When we have a big difference between the implied price and the real price, we have high returns. This is the return after 1 year, and this is the difference between the implied price and the real price. So we are here now. We can expect a high return. Also, we research the risks. We highlight the Mexican political economical situation and the nearshoring challenges. But we can talk about that later on the annexes. Then let's talk about this. And Warren Buffett said that opportunities are infrequent, and I'll say that Warren Buffett would take this opportunity because it's highly valuable. We have ability to capitalize nearshoring, strategic and organic growth, a consistent income structure. If you are searching a really great business, ladies and gentlemen, is Fibra Monterrey. Thank you so much.
Can we review the risks? Because you went through that very quickly, and maybe talk about how you did any sensitivity on those on those different scenarios?
Yes, of course, and we also have some appendixes, and we think that the Mexican political economical situation now is a risk because we have this new the plan that they have to implement new things into the constitution and change these autonomous organisms, and this can impact in the attraction of Fibra Monterrey as an instrument internationally. Therefore, we have, we can go there after. And then we have a rating of AA+ in Mexico, but over the world we have a BB negative, BBB negative, and that's something that would affect us a lot. We made a risk matrix also, and we quantify the impact and the risk that it could have on the valuation. And also the other part of the nearshoring challenges, of course, we couldn't ignore all the three things that Trump has been doing in the last weeks. Of course, I think that Sheinbaum is a really smart person, and a really smart woman, and that she is going to create something well with Trump, and that she will negotiate, because Mexico and United States are great partners. We also have that in the last period of Trump, the relationship was great. Also, we received investment. Therefore, it couldn't capitalize a lot, but it could affect a lot. But it's not that probable.
Did you quantify any sensitivity?
Yes, yes. We have the probability and the impact, and that was in the risk matrix. If it's greater, it has a greater impact, and it's more, it could destroy more value.
But so how does it change your target price, each risk?
Yes, each risk change it to 9 pesos. 9 pesos. Because we could expect to have less rents and the price to go down. Only we have to also to consider that they have policies with their tenants. So if they want to leave, they have to pay some money if they want to do so.
Okay. Thank you, Vanessa. This question is also related with the risk. A large part of the Fibra Monterrey business is concentrated in 2 states, Jalisco and Nuevo León. Everybody knows that they are very strong states and very healthy, but don't you think this could be a risk, or it's an opportunity? I would like to hear your opinion.
I think it's an opportunity because the main sector is automotive components, and the nearshoring could benefit Mexico because taxes that Trump wants to put into China, it's making China to send all their raw material to Mexico. So the production in Mexico, it's overflowing. And for a real investment trust, you prefer to have a lot of people producing those raw materials. And also here, in Monterrey, you have all the manufacturing plants of the raw material necessary for the automotive components, meaning steel and aluminum, close. So I think it's an opportunity.
Okay, you share with us many risks, but in your opinion, you have to choose just one risk, the main risk. What do you think is the main risk for this company?
The main risk, I think, it would be the economical situation in Mexico.
Okay. Perfect.
To complement my partner, it's the economical situation because think about if the worst scenario happens to Mexico, what is going to happen not only for the raise valuation of all the market, the equity risk premium is going to be up, and all the valuations of the whole market is going to be down.
Gracias. Thanks. Congrats on the presentation. Could you go deeper on valuation and financial analysis, please? So which are the 3 metrics, financial metrics, that you are taking into consideration to say this is an attractive opportunity and we should buy Fibra Monterrey?
Yes, of course. First, they have a really low rate. They have the lowest rate in the market of the rates, of the industrial rates. They have the lowest.
The lowest rate of what, sorry?
Of the weighted average rate of the leases they have. Of the loans, sorry. The loans they have. It's the lowest.
So the debt is cheap?
The debt is cheap, okay. Yeah. The debt is cheap, and they are taking advantage of this because they are buying portfolios like Zeus, also Batach, Aerotech, and these are portfolios with high potential of growth. Also, some other advantage, I'll say that they capitalize everything. Well, the most part of their income, 86% to be accurate, is in dollars. So their expenses are in pesos. Therefore, they are kind of hedged to changes to this phenomenon. And 1/3 financial thing, I'll say, of course, they have access to lots of loans, of bilateral loans, syndicated, and that they have chirographic loans. That's that they don't need to give anything in guarantee to receive the money. That's something great.
If I could go again on that, so why would that be a difference versus other fibras? So I'm trying to differentiate why Fibra Monterrey versus the peer group. And I think the three things that you have mentioned, it's also things that we can find in other players.
Okay, so the advantage is that it's cheaper to them to grow and to buy properties that have great potential to grow, like sales, for example, that duplicate the ABR and their NOI also augmented a lot. That would be, I say.
You mentioned that you did some deep work on the sum of the parts, no? Can you show us a little bit the details of how you derived your target price and how those recent acquisitions compare to Fibra Monterrey valuation? Want to know if these acquisitions were accretive or not, or...
Yes, of course. And in fact, it was really interesting because we also applied a Monte Carlo simulation because we recognize that we are humans and that we can commit mistakes in the calculations, but to less that impact, we create Monte Carlo simulations with the cap rates. Yeah, that's the research, the next one, the one of the properties. So we did due diligence in some web pages to get the lease price per square meter and the sale price per square meter. And then we get the average cap rate, and then we compare it in the next one, that is the matrix, the table, sorry, the order, and that one. Then we have the mean market cap rate, and then we divide the NOI into the market cap rate, and we get the implied value. And we get this one that gave us a higher value per share, per certificate, and the one that we have now. And also we developed a Monte Carlo simulation that it was this. And these were the numbers we have. And also I think that it's important to remember that in a trust, it's kind of a box where each ticket represents a portion of it. And in the worst scenario, it represents the value of the proportion. So in this case, the less value was $10.95, pesos per certificate, sorry. It would be great dollars.
Can you mention the effects that you used and different levels on different scenarios?
The foreign exchange, yes. Yeah. Well, we have that in the appendix number 108. That's one.
Well, we tried to fix the exchange rate because right now the peso was a little bit stronger than the dollar in an atypical scenario as we see, but we fixed the exchange rate to $20. That is right now the dollar that is oscillating in the market.
Okay, thank you.
Also, did you know that they have forwards also to protect to these changes? So if you have a great change, they have forwards, and also they have swaps to change to variable to fix the rates they have.
So did you take in any consideration the fact that Fibra Monterrey does buybacks, and have you factored this into the future for your target price? Are you taking any assumption there?
To be honest, that was my favorite topic, really. And it's there.
And you
the
haven't
CPA,
mentioned it.
That was my favorite topic because it directly impacts in the price. And here we have different average price and different amount of certificates. Here we have the certificates they would buy with different certificate prices, sorry. And we also have, the next slide please. No, there it is, sorry. And there it is, the implied price they would have by only buying the certificates and with a bit of the DCF that was moderate, it was base case. Therefore, it impacts in even 1 peso because they have 1,500 million pesos available to buy certificates. And they have spent this until September 30. So, thank you so much.
Hola, hola. Perfecto. Ya tenemos a todos los equipos de vuelta. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sí. Excelente. Bueno, pues ya terminamos de hacer aquí la suma de los puntajes. Ya tenemos ganadores. Nada más que antes de pasar a esa etapa donde ya anunciamos el orden de los equipos, creo que también es muy valioso para ustedes y en agradecimiento al tiempo que reciban palabras tanto de reconocimiento como de retroalimentación por distintas personas. En primer lugar, ahorita quiero presentar al director general de Grupo Bolsa Mexicana de Valores, Jorge Alegría. Jorge Alegría es una persona, es una eminencia aquí en México en mercados financieros, tiene amplia experiencia sobre todo en mercados de derivados y ahora está encabezando Grupo Bolsa Mexicana de Valores desde este año. Además, Grupo Bolsa Mexicana de Valores nos ha apoyado con el auditorio para poder desempeñar la competencia el día de hoy, y Jorge muy amablemente nos quiso dedicar parte de su tiempo para dedicarles unas palabras. Entonces, Jorge, te dejo aquí el podio.
Muchas gracias. No, digo, eso de eminencia sonó muy halagador, pero bueno, la verdad es que me da a mí muchísimo gusto estar aquí. Los felicito a todos. Sé que es un momento muy importante para todos los que han participado, los que están aquí, los que no están aquí, pero créanme que es un gran logro el que se lleve a cabo este tipo de eventos, el que participen. Y evidentemente, pues, felicidades anticipadas al ganador y mucha suerte en lo que sigue. Pero este tipo de procesos son muy enriquecedores para la formación de los jóvenes, de los profesores, de los adultos. Nosotros en el Grupo Bolsa estamos comprometidos con la educación financiera a todos los niveles. Una parte de la estrategia que estamos desarrollando, y la vamos a desarrollar de manera mucho más intensa en los próximos años, pues no es un tema de días ni de meses, es de años, es que esta educación financiera combinado con tecnología, combinado con inclusión financiera, nos lleve a tener un mucho mejor mercado de valores. Y eso es bueno para el país, eso es bueno para todos, y es pues nuestra contribución al desarrollo de México, del cual este tipo de eventos forma una parte muy importante. Yo no me quiero quedar aquí en medio para que no parezca esto como de serie de Netflix y que ya se den a conocer los ganadores, el ganador, y los felicito a todos. La próxima sesión, la próxima ocasión que probablemente los invitemos, no voy a comprometer a Gerardo Aparicio, pero sí lo voy a hacer. La bolsa va a ser este tipo de eventos, por ejemplo, lo comentaba con algunos de los muchachos aquí en la sala de atrás, es un evento como el reto de compra-venta de acciones, que hoy se lleva a cabo por Actinver. Hay otros que hacen otras bolsas. Vamos a tener el año que entra uno, patrocinado, lanzado, organizado por la bolsa, para derivados, para que también la gente pueda empezar a involucrarse en el uso de estos instrumentos tan importantes que se operan de manera impresionante, pero fuera de México. Uno de los grandes retos es repatriar ese mercado a México, al igual que muchas otras transacciones que se hacen fuera, y que en beneficio del desarrollo del mercado local y de los participantes de la industria local, pues que también tengan acceso a ese tipo de instrumentos y del financiamiento vía acciones, vía deuda en el mercado mexicano. Este tipo de eventos son sin duda muy bienvenidos para la bolsa. Los felicito y seguramente no será la última vez que nos veamos por aquí. Muchas gracias, suerte y felicidades.
Recientemente aquí Grupo Bolsa Mexicana de Valores trabajó para el lanzamiento de los futuros de TIE fondeo, un hito también en el mercado mexicano. Pero bueno, agradeciendo mucho a Jorge, a Gerardo por parte de la bolsa. También nos acompaña el presidente de la CFA Society de México, que también les quiere dirigir unas palabras, Pepe Segarra. Por favor, Pepe, adelante.
Muy buenas noches a todos, un gusto verlos por acá. Una competencia que ahorita me comentaban, yo vengo llegando y me disculpo por no haber estado acá antes. Siempre me encanta escuchar todas sus tesis de inversión, porque verdaderamente es siempre muy inspirador verlos a ustedes tan jóvenes, a todos los chavos que están haciendo un esfuerzo que verdaderamente nos hace a muchos de nosotros que somos parte de la sociedad de hoy en día pensar atrás y decir, vale, no le hacíamos nosotros tan profundo el análisis así. O sea, cada vez vemos cómo las generaciones vienen mejores, más preparadas, con más herramientas, y eso nos da muchísimo gusto, y por eso nos encanta estar promoviendo este tipo de actividad, este tipo de competencia, que si bien pues es una competencia y un ganador, créanme que no solamente los 4 equipos que hoy en día se presentaron aquí a presentar sus recomendaciones sobre Fibra Monterrey, sino que absolutamente todos los que participaron, que presentaron ese reporte, que hicieron ese esfuerzo, se llevan algo que ya pueden empezar a presumir allá afuera en el mundo laboral, en el entorno laboral, que les deja una experiencia súper valiosa que en una clase normal no se llega a percibir de la misma manera, y que una vez que están parados aquí enfrente de toda esta gente y de estos jueces que tienen una trayectoria tan importante, de Jorge y de todos los que estamos aquí, verdaderamente sea una experiencia súper valiosa, que es la joya de la corona de lo que se llevan hoy aquí. Entonces, por eso les quisiera dar un aplauso absolutamente a todos los equipos, son ganadores. Y nada más un detalle adicional, nuevamente, porque no me gusta como ese cuadro, ese encuadre de que sea una competencia, y más allá, pues los invito hoy y siempre a que conozcan a sus compañeros, ahorita que vamos a tener pues este evento de celebración de que, insisto, todos son ganadores, que empiecen a hacer esta red. Digo, yo verdaderamente me siento muy afortunado de conocer a los, bueno, no conozco a todos, ¿no? Pero conozco a cientos de CFA Charter Holders, de los que pertenecen hoy a la CFA Society de México, a los jueces que nos acompañan aquí desde hace muchísimos años. Tengo el gusto de conocer a algunos de ellos, siendo algunas veces su cliente, algunas veces ellos fueron el mío, así hay de todo, ¿no? Y créanme que esa red de financieros en México, si ustedes la saben explotar, les va a dar muchas oportunidades de carrera y les va a abrir muchas puertas. Entonces, desde hoy empiecen a relacionarse con todos, como lo que hacemos en la CFA Society de México, ¿no? Y pues aprovechando el comercial, me encantaría, nada me haría más feliz que verlos próximamente preparándose para la designación CFA, que bien saben es el estándar dorado en la preparación financiera en el mundo entero. Más de 200,000 CFA Charter Holders en todo el mundo. Aquí en México somos poco más de 450 y pues vemos mucha ventana para crecer, para que las empresas estén mejor apoyadas por financieros de primera categoría, que nos lleven a ser una mejor economía y un mejor país. Ese es el compromiso que buscamos aquí, la misión que tiene el instituto y la misión que tenemos aquí como CFA Society de México. Entonces, pues los invito a seguirse preparando, a que se sigan inspirando, a que conozcan a todos y que sean parte de este México que todos queremos que sea mejor. Muchísimas gracias y muchas felicidades.
Vamos a tener 2 mensajes más antes de pasar con los jueces de volada. César, del equipo de Fibra Monterrey, que también es Charter Holder, les quiere dirigir unas palabras. Ahora sí que le tocó escuchar todo y bueno, pues algunas impresiones tendrá de sus trabajos. Él no fue jurado.
Primero que nada, pues muchas felicidades a todos. La verdad, personalmente fue reconfortante escuchar a otra persona vender tan apasionadamente la empresa que promueve en el mercado todos los días. Es esa misma pasión la que motivó a estructurar Fibra Monterrey, la que ha impulsado su crecimiento hasta el día de hoy, y de seguro lo que va a seguir impulsando Fibra Monterrey para continuar siendo un referente en el mercado en los muchos años que tienen por venir. De hecho, Estoy muy contento porque el día de hoy, hace 10 años, fue el pricing de fibra Monterrey en el mercado. El 11 de diciembre... Entonces casi cayó en el 10º aniversario este concurso. El día de mañana, hace 10 años, fue el primer día en donde Fibra Monterrey empezó a cotizar en la Bolsa Mexicana de Valores. Además, quiero felicitarles por haber llegado a este punto en el reto, como alguien que tuvo el honor de participar en este desafío en el 2015. Entiendo perfectamente el esfuerzo, dedicación y compromiso que requiere llegar hasta aquí. No solo se trata de analizar datos y desarrollar una tesis de inversión sólida, sino también tener la capacidad de comunicarla de manera efectiva tan solo en 10 minutos. Un reto que no es fácil de superar. Además, como alguien de relación con inversionistas, es un orgullo ver cómo el mensaje que comunicamos cuidadosamente al mercado, tanto en términos de desempeño financiero como en términos de estrategia, fue capturado de manera precisa y profesional por los distintos equipos. Esto no solo refleja su talento y comprensión, sino también su capacidad para interpretar y transmitir información clave. El trabajo que han realizado es un reflejo de su pasión por las finanzas y su dedicación para superar desafíos de alto nivel. Más allá de los resultados, el aprendizaje y las habilidades que adquieren en esta experiencia son herramientas que los acompañarán a lo largo de sus carreras. Les animo a que sigan desafiándose a sí mismos, perfeccionando sus habilidades y sobre todo disfrutando de este emocionante camino de las inversiones. De nuevo, muchísimas felicidades, gracias por todo su esfuerzo. Estoy seguro que es el inicio de carreras profesionales muy prometedoras. Muchas felicidades nuevamente.
Estaba comentando con Vane hace rato que lo debimos de haber hecho en Monterrey, empresa red. Escuela red, empresa red. Alonso del equipo de S&P Global Market Intelligence también les quería dar pues unas palabras de reconocimiento y felicitación. Alonso, muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias a todos. Bueno, primero que nada agradecerles a todos el que nos hayan podido acompañar. Para S&P Global es verdaderamente un honor poder llevar a cabo este tipo de espacios. Siempre hace un compromiso nuestro poder potencializar el futuro de los mercados. Es parte de lo que hace el core de nuestra empresa. Está en el slogan está básicamente inscrito en todo lo que nosotros hacemos, Empowering the Markets of the Future. Y básicamente, qué mejor que eso, que empezar con los escalafones más importantes del desarrollo, que es la educación de las siguientes generaciones. Para nosotros esto es fundamental y es una iniciativa que venimos impulsando ya desde varios años. Creo que lo han escuchado hasta el cansancio, ahorita todos son ganadores, pero sí quiero que tengan en cuenta el potencial y el impacto que tienen este tipo de iniciativas. Vemos grandes ejemplos de personas que ya han hecho este CFA Research Challenge antes y el nivel de éxito que tienen. Yo mismo, dentro de S&P Global y dentro de mi rol pasado en manobras, contraté personas que pasaron por este reto, pero llévenselo como algo personal. Esto es una medalla para ustedes, el haber participado y el ser seleccionados como solo uno de más de 20 universidades que participaron. Es de verdad un logro que sí quiero que se lleven hasta ahorita y lo mantengan por toda su vida, porque es algo que si pueden mantenerlo a lo largo de su trayectoria, los va a seguir distinguiendo. Entonces, primero que nada, aplauso para ustedes. Ahorita que ya estamos cerrando, felicidades a todos y mucha suerte. Ahorita quedan en manos de nuestros jueces, entonces mucha suerte para todos y muchas gracias.
Yo sé que ya quieren aquí que nombremos y todo, pero les prometo que esto es parte de lo que ustedes se van a llevar como reconocimiento, por así decirlo, como premio, que va a ser palabras de feedback de los jueces. O sea, todo lo que hasta ahorita se ha dicho es un reconocimiento a su esfuerzo, pero ahorita los jueces van a reconocer eso y además les van a poder dar feedback de su trabajo. Entonces, no coman ansias, yo sé que ya vamos a anunciar ganadores, pero sí, las palabras de los jueces van a ser valiosísimas, entonces lo que le quieran comentar aquí a los equipos, estimados. Muchas gracias.
Súper, muchas gracias y felicidades nuevamente a todos. A ver, yo creo que desde el punto de vista de feedback, tómenlo como una sugerencia y de mi lado son dos cosas. Número uno, menos es más. Acuérdense que no tienen que enchufar toda la información y todo lo que pillan. Lo importante es la data que analizan, es con el takeaway que se quedan, es la comparación, es el insight que den. Googlear la información y encontrar información al respecto es bien fácil. Fibra Monterrey publica muy buenos reportes trimestrales, así como muchas empresas. Entonces, esa información está. La carnita que ustedes agregan es el análisis. No se olviden de eso y muchas veces menos es más, ténganlo en cuenta. ¿Qué cosas ustedes están entregándonos al público inversionista que lee su reporte que no lo voy a encontrar si lo googleo o si me meto en la página? Recuerden eso, 1. Y 2, ojo, todo lo que ustedes publican en el reporte, todo lo que es un reporte público, sell side, es esto, el ejercicio que acaban de hacer, puede ser el periodicazo de mañana. Entonces, mucho cuidado con los datos que utilizan, mucho cuidado con las personas que nombran, mucho cuidado con los análisis o los juicios de valor que hacen en relación a temas sensibles o a temas políticos. Aguas ahí. Entonces, yo mi pasado como sell-side analyst, mi miedo más grande era salir al día siguiente con un periodicazo. Eso es algo que nunca deben perder de vista, porque así como lo ponen y cuando uno está en el reporte con todas las ganas exponiendo, aguas con cada dato que ponen ahí, cada fuente que utilizan, cada dato tiene que ser verificable y tenemos que atenernos a la información. No debemos usar juicios de valor, es mi recomendación, porque eso puede abrir una ventana a un periodicazo que después es muy difícil cerrar. Y recuerden que representan una institución. Cuando hoy día están representando sus universidades, mañana van a representar al shop en el que estén trabajando. No se olviden de eso, son voceros de su institución.
Muchas gracias, Ceci, buenísimos consejos.
Felicidades a todos. De mi lado, el feedback que me gustaría darles es que sigan desarrollando estos skills de análisis. Es muy importante y básico para prácticamente todas las oportunidades laborales que pudieran encontrar en la industria de finanzas. O sea, aquí los que estamos en esta mesa hicimos sell-side research en algún momento, creo que la excepción es Lalo, pero aquí en la mayoría es la base y es muy importante que como trabajo posterior yo les aconsejo que dominen esas secciones de la investigación que no hicieron ustedes directamente. Yo como recluté analistas para research por 20 años prácticamente, era muy visible cuando ponían en su currículum que estuvieron en el challenge, pero les preguntaba de la evaluación y no sabían explicarla, ¿no? Entonces, un poco va con el tema que dijo Ceci, consistencia. Lo que pongan en su CV también tiene que ser un reflejo de lo que ustedes pueden probar como conocimiento, y pues que sigan el camino del CFA. Y la verdad es que para mí hizo una gran diferencia como avance de carrera, oportunidades de ascensos en el trabajo, de reconocimiento de clientes y colegas. Es un charter que es reconocido a nivel mundial. Es diferente a una maestría incluso, donde es diferente si la haces en Inglaterra, en Estados Unidos, en Francia, como que te perfilas diferente. Aquí el CFA es estándar global. Entonces, la verdad es una insignia que yo recomiendo mucho y que no está peleada con hacer un MBA, al contrario, véanlo como complemento. Entonces, pues bueno, les dejo esos dos consejos. Dominen su investigación del challenge al 100% y sigan el camino del CFA Charter.
Lalo, me voy a tomar también entonces tu tiempo. Yo la verdad es que sé que tengo que ser muy breve, pero son tantas cosas las que yo quisiera, Probablemente, chavos, estén pensando que alguna situación de nervio a lo largo de esta presentación les pudo haber afectado. Créanme que fue algo que discutimos y eso no los afectó, ¿no? Entendemos perfectamente su condición, sabemos que están empezando, entonces lo que sí les diría es, acuérdense si les gusta bailar, cómo aprendieron a bailar, o si practican algún deporte, o si les gusta cocinar. Lo aprenden en la práctica. Entonces, simplemente tienen que seguir practicando, ¿ok? Segundo, chavos, no sé al final del día cuál pueda ser su trayectoria, pero si es esta, ya se comentaba aquí, ¿no? La brevedad es muy importante en este negocio, ¿no? Pero por otro lado también la facilidad de la comunicación. O sea, ya más adelante yo les diría, procuren desarrollar una comunicación sencilla, una comunicación fácil. Si tienen que estar quizá con un grupo de gente mucho más conocedora es válido, pero les va a tocar muchas veces estar con gente que no necesariamente conoce todos estos conceptos. Entonces sí creo que es importante también que aprendan a comunicar de una manera mucho más fácil. Tercero, chavos, congruencia. Tienen que ser congruentes, ¿no? Hoy creo que ya probaron algo más que en una presentación como potenciales analistas. También van a ser inversionistas, chavos, ¿no? Y esto lo agrego o lo extiendo a la audiencia de hoy, ¿no? Probablemente muchos de ustedes no entendieron todo esto y todos los conceptos y a eso me refería yo con el tema de la facilidad. Pero también tienen que involucrarse en este mundo, chavos, como inversionistas, como actores completos. Uno de los, diría yo, de las situaciones más críticas a veces que se dedica a evaluar y a proponer, pero no necesariamente participa. Entonces tienen que participar de esto, ¿no? Ya casi para terminar, no sé si notaron toda la audiencia. Tuvimos 4 equipos participantes, cada uno de ellos de una opinión sobre la misma compañía. El potencial de rendimiento de esta empresa estuvo en un rango cerca de poquito más de 18% a poco más de 40%. Esas son las proyecciones que había para un año de rendimiento de la empresa. ¿Cuántas alternativas de inversión realmente pueden ofrecer algo como esto independientemente de Fibra Monterrey? Este mercado está muy desconocido. Me sumo un poco a la invitación de la educación financiera. Y así sucede. Los grandes creadores de patrimonio lo han hecho a través de este tipo de mercados. Entonces yo los invito a que nos involucremos también en esto, ¿no? Y ya para terminar, nada más extiendo la felicitación pues a los maestros también, o sea, los maestros de estas universidades, los que estuvieron atrás, los que están ahí, los que creen en esto, y por supuesto a los papás que vinieron y a los familiares, ¿no? O sea, siéntanse orgullosos de estos chavos, o sea, pues son de ustedes y aquí se refleja mucho el esfuerzo y el trabajo de ustedes, ¿no? Muchas gracias, muy buenas noches.
Y voy a nombrar primero al cuarto equipo. Les pido que le demos un aplauso, que pasen por su reconocimiento y así después nos vamos con tercero, segundo y primero. ¿Les parece? Bueno, en cuarto lugar, me da gusto felicitar a la Universidad de Monterrey. Si quieren, suban para la foto, por favor. Ahora nos vamos con el tercer. Ahora nos vamos a darles unas bolsas al cuarto lugar. Ahora sí nos vamos con el tercer lugar. Muchas felicidades a Universidad La Salle. No, es uno. Falta uno. A continuación voy a nombrar el segundo lugar, obviamente vamos a saber luego quién es el primer lugar, pero pido que demos el aplauso, demos chance de que se suban a la foto y ya después nombro al primer lugar, ¿les parece? Y para que no sea como en los Óscares lo voy a leer aquí. Segundo lugar, muchas felicidades al TEC de Monterrey, Campus Monterrey. Y bueno, pues vámonos con el primer lugar. Muchísimas felicidades a la Universidad de las Américas, Puebla.